Still, President Muhammadu Buhari says the 2022 appropriations is a budget of economic growth and sustainability, as the government's target over medium term is to grow revenue to GDP ratio from about 8% currently to 15% by 2025. To this end, the 2022 budget will be the last full-year budget to be implemented by this administration, the reports. This administration has designed it to build on the achievement of previous budgets and to deliver on the government's goals and aspirations, which will be reflected in the soon-to-be launched National Development Plan of 2021 to 2025. Addressing the joint session of the 9th Assembly, the President highlighted key indices that help to stimulate the 2022 budgets. These are allocation to the MDAs, which is guided by the strategic objectives of the National Development Plan of 2021 to 2025, which aims at diversifying the economy, investing in critical infrastructure, strengthening security, and ensuring good governance, enabling a vibrant, education and healthy populace, reducing poverty and minimizing regional economic and social disparities. While giving a breakdown, the president said about 768.28 billion naira is for statutory transfer, 6.83 trillion naira for non-debt recurrent expenditure, and 5.35 trillion naira for capital expenditure, while the 2022 budget deficit is projected at 5.20 trillion. He added that the debt service is estimated at 3.61 trillion, while provisions for the sinking funds for maturing debt is placed at 292.71 billion naira.
We plan to finance the deficit mainly by new borrowings totaling 5.01 trillion naira, 90.73 billion naira for privatization proceeds, and 1.16 trillion naira drawdowns on loans secured for social development projects. Some have expressed concern over our resort to borrowing to finance our fiscal gaps. They are right to be concerned. However, we believe that the debt level of the federal government is still within sustainable limits. Borrowing at specific strategic projects and can be verified publicly. As we are aware, we have witnessed 2 economic recessions within the period of this administration. In both cases, we had to spend our way out of recession, which necessitated a resort to growing the public debt. It is unlikely that our recovery from each of the 2 recessions would have grown as fast without the sustained government expenditure funded by debt.
Speaking of the government's resort to external borrowing, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan raised concern over the nation's debt sustainability. This, he said, generating more revenues through the agencies will reduce the government's deficits and dependence on external borrowing to fund the country's national budgets.
You will be laying the 2022 appropriation bill. Mr. President, I commend you for maintaining this trajectory of presenting the annual budget estimates before the joint sitting of the National Assembly in good time to enable the Assembly work on the bill. Mr. President, members of the 9th National Assembly have kept to their promise of passing the annual appropriation bill before the end of the year to ensure that the bill is signed into law before the beginning of the new year. The 2020 and 2021 appropriation bills were considered and passed before the end of each year. The distinguished and honored members of the National Assembly remain committed to working on the 2022 appropriation bill and pass it before the end of this year. Mr. President, the Nigerian economy and indeed our citizens are benefiting from the early passage and assent to the 2020 and 2021 appropriation bills now acts. 2022 budget should target at completion and consolidation of the projects already started.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives says the Ninth Assembly will demand a thorough accounting for the funds previously appropriated, disbursed and expended from the MDAs, as they will take steps to hope to account those who fail to provide the records needed to make informed decisions on the appropriation bill.
Over the past year, the House has passed several important resolutions relating to healthcare access, primary education, rural infrastructure deficits, and national security that require actual funding. Where these restrictions have not been included in the appropriation bill, the House will work with the Senate and the Executive to see that the final version of this appropriation bill includes necessary allocations to implement these resolutions and give full effect to the best wishes of the House.
The president said Nigeria is currently emerging from a very difficult economic challenge, highlighting that there is the need to continue to cooperate and ensure that our actions are aimed at accelerating the pace of economic recovery of the country.